Creating interactive content from InDesign is a great way to take your digital assets further, and the same flow that we'll cover today you can also follow if you're using Illustrator or even Photoshop as well. We'll be covering the basics of designing your main page layouts and navigation, and exporting as a PDF, saving your secondary assets for carousels, scrolls, and overlays as PNGs, and then importing them into Tiled and assembling your interactivity. When we think about designing interactive content, a video background on the cover page is a great way to instantly grab your audience's attention and lead with something that immediately feels differentiating. Along with that, having a fixed menu designed into each page so you can choose your own path or jump around as needed, similarly to links in an interactive PDF. Then there's the elements that might be a bit newer to your presentation workflow, like scrolls to not overcrowd your page with text, carousels to add a bit of motion, and overlays or pop-ups to emphasize specific points and information. Now that you've seen the output, let's dig into how you actually create this in InDesign. This company overview template is available as an InDesign file that you can use as a jumping off point or simply for reference. For starters, I'm going to open up the Pages menu and rearrange my page layout so that all of my main pages, or the landscape 1920 by 1080 designs, are all in a row. That way it'll make exporting them as a PDF nice and easy. Once you've done that, you can go to File and Export and select Adobe PDF. Then instead of all pages, we'll enter our range. Now on our cover page in the tiled project that we saw, there was a video background, which we'll set up there. However, in order to account for that in the export, we know that PDFs don't do a great job with transparency. So what we'll do is go ahead and select the elements on our cover page and go to File, Export again. But this time, instead of a PDF, we'll just save this image as a PNG, and we'll leave this as selection, and then we'll make sure that the option is checked for transparent background and export. Now, if we pop our Pages menu back open, down at the bottom, once we've moved past the pages that we've exported already as a PDF, there are also elements that we want to include as our scrolling text or as our carousel images that swipe and move on a given page. So just like we did with our cover page, we'll also want to go ahead and export each one of these as PNGs, and then we'll bring those into Tiled as well. Now that we've designed with interactivity in mind, we'll start the import into Tiled. In your account, click the blue New Microapp button, and we'll go ahead and convert a file, uploading the PDF that we just exported from InDesign. You'll then be brought into the Tiled Builder. By default, we'll bring each page of the PDF in and break it back down by pages so that we can build and layer interactivity upon it. Each page design will also come in the bottom right-hand corner as an asset. You can then also drag and drop any assets, like the ones that we exported separately from InDesign, and they'll show up in the Assets panel as well. And you can also import videos, either MP4s or MOVs. Before we get started assembling our cover page or adding hotspots, we highly recommend renaming your pages. That way you're not stuck memorizing page numbers. Now, on our cover page, we know this slide doesn't have the transparency that we're looking for to just set a video behind it. So what we'll do is simply layer our new assets right over the top. Starting with our cover page image, I'm going to go ahead and drag that onto the canvas and use my background as a way to line it up, but we can also just take it full screen. Now I'll drag my video onto the canvas as well and size it accordingly. Now, since this is going to be a motion graphic, I want to change it from fit to fill, turn the sound off, and set it to autoplay and loop. Now, since it's blocking the Get Started button, all I need to do is rearrange my layers, drag it to the back, and we'll preview to make sure it's working as intended. Now we can start to connect our pages with hotspots. Simply drag the hotspot over anything that you want to be clickable. Then set where you want the link target to go. You can set hotspots one at a time. You can also create multiple hotspots at once, which for pages like this, where there's a fixed menu on every page, equal distance apart, will save you a ton of time. All you need to do is drag your hotspot area over where you want it to be clickable and add multiple links. By default, we'll set up vertically, however you can toggle them to horizontal, and set your link targets. Then I can select that block of hotspots and copy it across every page in which that menu exists. Next, we'll go ahead and set up our scroll, which can take up as much or as little of the page as you'd like. Click on More Elements, drag your scroll onto the canvas, size it accordingly, and then you can grab the asset and drag it right in. Next, we'll set up a carousel, which in this case, we're going to have some customer testimonials that move on their own. So just like I did with the scroll, grab our carousel and decide where I want it to be set up. Then I'll grab my testimonial images and drag them right in. Adjust the scale as needed. And then you can also make changes to if there's a menu down at the bottom, if it auto plays on its own, and if they rotate after a certain amount of time. Setting up overlays is just as easy, and on our culture page, we want someone to be able to click on Matthew Harris's information and have it pop up with more of a bio card to learn more. So in the bottom right-hand corner, I'll toggle to Overlays and create a new one. Right-click to rename it, and then grab the bio asset that you want to show up, size it accordingly. By default, we will add a close button for you. If you've already designed it into the image, you can feel free to delete it. There's also some preset opacity, so if you want to make the background lighter or darker, you've got the ability to adjust that. From here, you'll want to add a hotspot over the close button, which will return to the page in which you came from. And as a pro tip, you can also set a hotspot that goes the full page and drag that to your background layer, which will make sure that when anybody clicks back, regardless of if they click the close button you've designed or just off the card, it takes them back where they want to go. For another tip and trick, for Laura's bio, for example, go ahead and duplicate and rename your overlay. Then simply drag in Laura's bio image, and all your hotspots and interactivity remain. Then on the main page, simply make sure that you're linking to the right overlay. As this project starts to take shape, if you want to go ahead and create a link for some of your counterparts or your audience to view, you can hit Publish in the upper right-hand corner. You'll be prompted to set a cover image, which just default to the first page of your PDF or your design that you brought in. This cover image shows as the thumbnail in your tiled library, as well as a splash loading screen for your microapp. Now this thumbnail is included in the InDesign file, which I exported with all of my secondary assets. So if I click Change, I can either upload it or browse my files. You've also got the ability to create your own custom image with the dimensions that we've listed. Then go ahead and publish, and you're ready to present or share. When you need to make a change, whether it's a typo or something bigger, you'll want to make that change in InDesign. Then simply export your PDF with the same file name. Then simply drag your PDF back into tiled, and we'll recognize the assets and simply replace the ones that have been updated. Then, even if you've already created and shared a link, simply republish. And the next time somebody views that link, they'll see the most recent version. We hope this has been helpful as far as creating a microapp coming from InDesign, but if you have any questions, you can reach us at support@tiled.co.